Battlefield Hardline was a game that split the community right from the outset. Coming off the rocky launch of Battlefield 4 and the fact that the game was still being fixed when Hardline was announced made fans uneasy at the idea of another entry in the Battlefield series.
My name's Anthony, and today we're going to take a look at Battlefield Hardline and why it failed, or if it even did.
Now this video could be over right now because the answer's simple, right?
Battlefield Hardline fucking sucks. Battlefield 4 is the best game ever made, and Battlefield Hardline is complete shit.
I'd like to introduce you all to the all or nothing syndrome, an epidemic here on the internet that keeps people from thinking rationally.
I see it every day. Let's use milk as an example. Jim likes milk and decides to post on FaceSpace about how much he likes it. Richard does not care for milk, so he says,
fucking milk fucking sucks. How could you have a different taste than me, you fucking idiot?
People do this constantly. Everything is either the best or the worst with no middle ground of like, well, it's a well-made thing, but it's just not for me.
Now let me say I don't think Hardline is the best game ever made, but it's not the pile of crap the game's abandonment would lead you to believe. It's simple and lazy to just say something sucks and move on, so I thought I'd actually break down what happened to Battlefield Hardline.
Was it the game's supposed lack of content, the weird cops and robbers theme, or the hardcore community's abandonment of the game? Let's find out.
Oh, and the whole Battlefield Hardline sucks thing, it is like 90% the same game as Battlefield 4. The gameplay is similar, the objectives are similar, everything is extremely similar. So, how is one the greatest game ever, and how is one the worst game ever?
Internet, you make no fucking sense.
So first off, let's talk content. I've heard time and time again that Battlefield Hardline failed because it lacked content and should have just been DLC for Battlefield 4.
Honestly, looking at the numbers, at least on PC, the same amount of people are playing Hardline as they do Battlefield 4 DLC.
It might be EA's fault that people think this way though. In 2010, a DLC add-on was released for Battlefield Bad Company 2 called Vietnam, which took place in Vietnam. Listen to this description and guess which game I'm talking about. A conversion of an existing game on the same game engine, but with a different theme, new maps, a handful of new guns, and gadgets that apply more to the theme.
Yeah, you get what I was going for. Both Hardline and Vietnam can fit under that description. So, is that why people think Hardline should have just been a DLC? Maybe.
Vietnam featured 5 new maps, 6 new guns, and several new vehicles. The amount of content was astonishing considering the DLC's price tag of only $15. So yes, I think it's because of this that people were so quick to say Hardline should just be a DLC. But I think that's more of a testament to how good a deal Vietnam was. I would have gladly paid $30 for the amount of stuff that was in that pack, and Hardline has even more.
Let's compare Hardline and Battlefield 4, and I'm just talking about the games at launch. DLC does not count. Get out of here. Go. Go!
Battlefield 4 started with 10 maps at launch, while Battlefield Hardline started with 9.
Now this might just be personal taste, but I like the maps in Hardline better than 4 from a design perspective.
Neebs brought up a good point the other day. Maps in Hardline might be smaller overall, but have way more detail in them. For example, a map like Goldmud Railway may be very large, but most of it is empty space in a field. I would bet my favorite map in Hardline, Bank Job, has just as much surface area as Goldmud, with its buildings with multiple stories and tons of interior and exteriors. So basically I'm saying the map might be smaller, but has more detail in areas, which fits Hardline's more close quarters infantry combat.
Now guns. There are a lot less guns in Hardline. Too few, some would say. Too few, I would say. But let's admit Battlefield 4 has too many guns.
Even since Battlefield 4 launched, it had too many guns. And from a design perspective, I get Hardline's limited but more focused approach to weapons. Hardline is designed to have a couple of each type of weapon. They cover a balanced weapon set without guns overlapping each other too much. In Battlefield 4, we have a medium-ranged assault rifle, a medium-ranged assault rifle, medium-ranged assault rifle, medium-ranged assault rifle, yes, medium-ranged assault rifle, a shotgun, a shotgun, a shotgun, a shotgun, a shotgun, a shotgun, a sniper rifle, ooh look, a sniper rifle, and a sniper rifle, oh, and another sniper rifle. I could keep going. Yes, it's good to have variety, but if they all do the same thing, then what's the point? And if one of them is better than the others, then again, what is the point? Well, my point is Hardline could use a few more guns, but I think it's pretty good and balanced the way it is, and not a huge complaint on why the game sucks overall.
Also, yes, we have to talk about single player. I know none of us like it, but it does count as content in the game.
Just like Battlefield 4, there's a lackluster campaign attached to the game that people say is meh. I've never played it, I probably never will, but if we subtract it from both Battlefield 4 and Hardline, then we have a pretty similar package. I think Hardline has a pretty good amount of content even compared to 4, and is only lacking in things that don't make sense in the game's theme, like jets and tanks.
Another reason I hear brought up a lot is the game's cops and robbers theme. Many say because the game isn't military focused, it turned off a lot of Battlefield fans.
Now this might be true, but I don't think it was specifically for that reason. Instead, I think it has to do with the concessions the game had to make for its theme. The game doesn't have tanks, APCs, jets, and because of this, people feel like something is missing. This ties into the lack of content idea, but it fits the game's theme. I remember when the Hardline beta started and people were complaining about how you could equip heavy weapons. They said it didn't make sense for the cops to have these weapons, so they changed it. In the final release, those heavy weapons were pickups scattered around the map. Not much more realistic, but a better balance than what was there before. My point is they updated the game to fit the theme better because fans wanted it. But sticking to that same theme means tanks? Nope. APCs? Nope. And jets? Nope.
But with all these things, you have to ask, should Hardline have even been a Battlefield game?
This was a debate ever since the game was announced. Why not just make a new IP instead of slapping the Battlefield name onto it?
We all know why. Money. Of course it was money. Brand recognition is a powerful thing. That's why most movies these days are sequels or remakes.
But let's be honest, either way, EA was going to get some pushback from the community. If they made a new IP out of Hardline, everyone would have just called it a copy-paste of Battlefield 4. But would that have been better than what we have now? Probably not, because while a lot of people have stopped playing Hardline, they did buy it in the first place. And sadly, that's all EA's investors care about. To them, I'm sure the game was a success, making lots of money even though the hardcore community has all but abandoned it. Battlefield has a strong and dedicated online community, as can be seen in the YouTube space with many people dedicated just to its games.
Being part of the Battlefield Friends crew, I've seen firsthand how online personalities can affect a game's community. Everybody knows Shitbucket, Jeep Stuff, Promoted, even people who haven't seen the show.
What I'm saying is people's opinions can be changed by people they look up to, even online. So when Hardline launched, a lot of players were hyped for it, so were many YouTubers. But after a few months, you saw less and less coverage of Hardline, and things started to shift back to Battlefield 4.
So what happened? I think it was a snowball effect, like trickle-down Battlefield dynamics or something. I mean, look, I have a chart.
Basically, some of the big YouTubers stopped playing Hardline or didn't care for it, so their large audiences followed suit. I'm not saying everyone is a bunch of sheep, but we have to admit public opinion of anything can change the way we think about something. As opinions on Hardline shifted to a negative perspective in the community, less and less people wanted to play it. And after a while, even people who liked it didn't have a lot of people to play with, so they stopped too. It became a snowball effect, and even I felt the shift. I personally enjoyed Hardline's gameplay more than Battlefield 4. I thought the guns felt better and just overall felt like a tighter experience. But being a content creator, I have to make videos and play games that people want to watch. As views for Hardline videos dwindled and viewership on Twitch went down, I decided to go back to Battlefield 4.
Now I have to ask, who's still playing Hardline? Nobody, right? Well, that's not entirely true.
Yes, Hardline on PC is pretty dead, with a few servers here and there, but on the consoles it's a different story. Numbers on the PS4 and Xbox One are still up there, not as good as Battlefield 4, but acceptable.
Now let me preface this statement by saying not all console gamers are casual gamers, but it's more likely for a casual gamer to be on a console than it is on an expensive gaming PC, especially with a AAA game like Battlefield 4 that needs a pretty beefy rig.
Most people who are still playing Battlefield Hardline are casual gamers. Gamers that don't care about the whole online or YouTube community of the Battlefield games and just want to play for a bit each night. They hop on and shoot some cops or some robbers and remain blissfully unaware of the hate one of their favorite games is receiving. Again, it's not a bad thing, it's just something I've noticed.
So in conclusion, I think Battlefield Hardline failed because of the Battlefield community. It's your fault! All your fault!
I'm just kidding, but it was a combination of the smaller things I mentioned earlier that led to the hardcore Battlefield fans abandoning the game. I feel like we are in a new era of gaming, brought on by the Let's Play culture online. First, we had single-player games with local multiplayer like the NES, Super Nintendo, N64, that type of stuff. Then came the multiplayer era during the Xbox, Xbox 360, PS3. This brought about games like Halo 2 and Call of Duty 4, hugely popular games you would play with small groups of friends online. This was around the same time every game was cramming in a multiplayer and trying to be the next big thing.
Now we are in the community era, where there's less multiplayer games, but bigger communities built around these tentpoles.
Look at Twitch with games like League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty. Heck, Battlefield is relatively small compared to those. But these games are built not only on playing it, but cartoons about it, let's plays of it, and people giving their opinions on it. In this day and age, it's important to have a strong following and to make your community happy, because they are the ones that will make a game succeed or fail. Look at MMOs, they come and go constantly, as did all those tacked-on multiplayer games like BioShock 2 and God of War. What the fuck were they thinking?
Hardline may not have been perfect, but it died far faster than the game's quality would have led you to believe. That just shows in this new gaming age, fans, you have more power than you think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button to support the show, and check us out on Twitch where we stream every week. I'd love to meet you guys on there. Until next time, I'll see you later.